I don't know about you guys, but sometimes sometimes when I'm sitting there by myself, minding my own business with nobody around me, I just start laughing. I think of something funny and I just start laughing. Uh, and it's moments like these that I just giggle to myself sometimes and zoom out a little bit and think about the bigger picture. And I just think to myself, what the hell are we doing, man? What am I doing? What's everyone around me doing? And it's just a funny thought. Uh, think about the idea of somebody dropping 180 kilos from shoulder height uh, in an environment where people are not used to this much weight being dropped. If we're real, man, like 80% of the people in the gym that I go to are not real lifters, man. They're like recreational people that come in to just move their joints about so they don't get arthritis at the ripe old age of 35. So they just come in, they want to fall asleep on the machine between sets and they just walk around. They do 50 trips to the water fountain and they check every email and every message and every latest trend in between the sets on their phones. And all of a sudden there's some baboon in the corner dropping 180 kilos on the ground. And all of a sudden the central nervous system spikes up. They get frightened. They turn around. They give me the dagger like I'm some meathead that wants to cause trouble. Look at me, I've got these big muscles and a small penis. I can just imagine all of the thoughts that goes through their mind. Oh, look at this guy, like he thinks he's tough, but I bet he can't fight. Like sometimes I sit there and I think to myself about some of these thoughts and I just giggle to myself. And I'm sure people that see me giggling as I'm sitting there by myself think, this guy's completely mad. He's probably on drugs. He's probably on something. And, that's why he's laughing. But I don't know, man, in some weird circumstances, in some really inappropriate circumstances, I find myself laughing, and I feel guilty about it. But I've laughed in situations where you should not be freaking laughing. It's because I zoom out, and I think of my life like back in the day, that game called Sims. We're all kind of running around, and there's like this view that we all kind of from like a bird's eye view, you can see what people are doing, and from that angle, everything is belittled and everything is funny. Everything is just we think we have some huge troubles, but really it's just it's a joke. The whole thing is a joke, and I love these moods that when I get into these moods because I think about the looks that I got when I dropped that 180 today, and it's like some people turn around like they thought the gym got bombed. Oh goodness! Some people thought some people thought the gym got bombed. In that split second, they thought, "Oh shit, something really bad has happened." It's just funny, right? Because if I went to Olympic, weightlifting gym, like everyone's dropping everything, like they're dropping 250 kilos, whatever, like it doesn't matter. But when you go to a gym where, like, there's deadlift platforms there, right? But nobody's dropping from shoulder height anything, right? These platforms are like pseudo platforms. They're not really made for any really shock absorption. They're just made for like, I don't know, if you happen to drop it from like 1 millimeter, you're not going to hear anything, right? But dropping it from shoulder height, it's like a big racket, and people freak out, and it's like a big thing, right? And so it doesn't happen. It rarely happens in a gym like this. And this is kind of like one of the reasons why I don't like failing. Well, I don't like failing anyway, really. But, if I fail in the gym, it's kind of safer, right? Like, there's no neighbors sleeping. There's no concrete being smashed. You can make an argument that I'm actually smashing the platform itself. And you can see that there's some damage from people doing deadlifts and whatever. And so, but it's not my, goal to go to the gym and break their equipment. It's not about that. Like, I'm generally pushing myself, and I thought I had the 180. It's just I lost positioning. But in the moment that I dropped it, I was like, I knew I lost it at a certain point. And I even thought to myself, like, what goes through people's minds when they're just about to fail? Like, if I'm looking myself doing this lift again, everything was feeling good. It's just on the way up, I felt like I wanted to use more quads, leaned over, lost positioning, and there you go, back started rounding, and I just lost it. And that was it. And if you look at the replay, I've put a clip here about the replay. If you look at the replay, you can see the moment, I push my knees backwards. The moment I start to kind of really want to engage the posterior chain, and that is coupled with me getting absolutely demolished in the upper back, and then the weight has to get dropped. There's a reason why this happened, whatever. I'm tired, through the hips, through the hamstrings, through all of these things. Like, there's a good reason. Like, I've pushed real hard this week leading up to this. There's a good reason why I did it. Like, it wasn't just for me getting shits and giggles from the people in the gym, but like after that moment in the workout, I could see, the people are not all that pleased with me. One of the people came out, like one of the staff members came out, and I could see that the reason she came into the weightlifting platform space was the gym space, the free weight section, was because she had heard the loud bang, and she probably thought, well, somebody's dead. Somebody must have died after that. Which is, like, once again, like, this doesn't happen in the gym. This is not supposed to happen in the gym like this. And which is why a lot of the time I feel like I'm out of place in a gym like this, because, just the virtue of nobody dropping the freaking weight down means that nobody's really doing what I want to be doing. And that's kind of like pushing the strength game. You know what I mean? Not to say that you're supposed to be failing to making progress and to be strong. But, if you go to an Olympic weightlifting gym, everyone's freaking dropping the bar. And it's kind of like, that's where my home is. It's just, I find myself in a place like this where, most people, I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone, but like, and it's fine if you go to the gym just to kind of like, do whatever. Just, move your joints so you don't get pain in them tomorrow morning or something like that. So 80% of people, I would say, go to the gym for these kind of reasons. Recreational, just to get a move around, blah, 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 blah. People are not thinking, I got to deadlift 300, I got to squat 300. Yeah, it's not about that for them, which is okay. And which is why, I keep saying, like, I don't feel like I belong in a gym like this. But this gym like this has a lot of benefits for me because, number one, it's really cheap. Number two, it's really accessible. Number three, they've got huge selection of equipment. And so I'm sure, like, if you're listening, you probably feel, the dilemma in your mind, right? Because if you go to Olympic weightlifting gym, like I've got one here locally, they have like these tight freaking opening hours. The gym is not as good as this. The equipment is much, the selection is much less of equipment, and it's kind of like, all right, I'm not a super athlete either. I'm just kind of like some guy that takes it more seriously than the normal guy. And on the way, as I train, I maybe anger some people. But being on the other side of somebody doing crazy things, just the other day I saw a guy who clearly, I don't know what he's doing there. He looked angry. He looked like he was, throwing his arms around. He was doing dumbbell pressing and he dropped the freaking dumbbells from the shoulder height. Like, so he finished the rep. He was in full control. But instead of going to the knees and then to the ground, he just threw them, right? And the thing bounced around, blah, 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 everywhere. So that's not a fail. That's him being a dick, right? So when I see that, I'm pissed off, right? I'm like, come on, man. Like, don't do that. Don't be one of those idiots. You have more maturity than that. So I guess for a lot of people, that guy and myself, what I did today, we're kind of like in the same kind of basket. But for me, I had real intentions of lifting. I knew the moment where I screwed up, and I knew I lost it, and it was no control. At that moment, I knew I lost it. Whereas that guy, he had control the full time, and he just chose to launch the damn weights across the room. And I think that's the difference. But regardless of either of the things, dropping 180 gave me a bit of a laugh. Not in the moment, like I showed respect. I didn't want to be one of those guys. But like, deep inside me, I was like laughing because everyone kind of turned around like somebody drove the car through the gym, right? Anyway, I should not be making fun of this because, once again, I didn't do it on purpose, but sometimes I just laugh at some of these things. Anyway, appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.